Hello guys, welcome to this section. And in today's class, we'll be looking at quadratic equations. Okay, now the quadratic equation is an equation whose leading term, that is the first term, has the highest power of 2. So we can have beyond 2. If you have a power of 3, it's a cubic equation. If you have a power of 1, it's a linear equation. So when you have an equation that has whose highest power is 2, it is called a quadratic equation. Now, these terms A, B, C are constants. When we know the values of this A, B, C, then we can solve the quadratic equation for the solution of the equation. And whenever we solve a quadratic equation, we expect to have at least two solutions because or most of the time, two solutions because it's a power of 2, so we expect two solutions, except some special cases when you might have one solution, or in some other cases where the solution may be complex. So all of this we will see in this video as we proceed. Now, the next thing we need to look at now is the methods we can use to solve the quadratic equation. Now, there are three basic methods. I will highlight it, but in this video, we'll be focusing on the first one. Subsequently, we'll treat the other methods of solving the quadratic equation. Now, the first method is what we call formula method. The formula method. Now, the second method of solving the quadratic equation is the method of factorization. And lastly, we have the method of completing the square, or completing the square method. So these are the three basic methods we can use in solving any quadratic equation you are given. Now, as I said earlier, we are focusing on the first method for today. That is the formula method. Now, let's see how the formula method is applied. Now, I've given this quadratic equation in equation A. The formula for solving this kind of equation is given simply as x is equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Now you can see that every of the constant terms, the coefficient of x squared x and the constant term c, are all represented in this formula. So when you know the values of a, b, c, you can easily impute them into this formula to get the solutions of the equation. Now, we will quickly take an example, a practical example, to illustrate what we have just learned today. So let's say we have this question. Find the solution to the quadratic equation given below. And the question is x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equals to 0. Now, in solving any question, I want you to take note of this. Whenever you have a quadratic equation, the question could come in any form, but always make sure that it conforms with the original or the general form, which is this equation A. So once you are able to confirm that, yes, the question conforms with this original form, you cannot proceed to apply the quadratic formula. For example, let me illustrate what I mean. You can have this question in this form. We could give you this question in this form: x squared, let's say, plus 2x is equals to 3. Now, if this is the same question, but cast in another form. If you look at this one, it doesn't exactly conform to the form in the general form of equation A, because the constant term c is on the right of the equal sign. So you cannot say your c is 3, because that would be wrong. So you must, when you have something like this, you need to bring the 3 back to this side to make it look like the general form before you can apply the quadratic formula. So let's proceed with this. From here, we need to identify the constant terms. A is what? 1, that's the coefficient of x squared. B is what? 2, the coefficient of x. And C is what? -3, that is the constant term. Now, from this, the next step will be to apply the formula directly. So x is equal to minus b, which is 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 2 squared, minus 4. A is what? 1. C is what? -3. All divided by what? 2a is 1. Now we simplify this. When we simplify this, we'll have what? -2 plus minus. Now the square root of 2 squared is what? 4. Now we multiply this. 4 times 1 times 3. That is 12. But remember, there is a negative sign here and a negative sign here. When these negative signs multiply, you will have what? Positive. So that will give you positive 12 divided by 2 times 1, 2. And finally, you will have -2 plus minus 12 plus 4. That will give us what? 16. So that's square root of 16 over 2. Now, we can simplify further. And the square root of 16 is what? Is 4. How do we know that? You can use factorization method. If you have 16, this divided by 2, you have 8, 2 into 8, you have 4, 2 here, 2, 2 here, 1. So you can see this is 2, 2, that's 2 times 2, 4. So the square root of 16 is 4. And that will give us minus. From here, the first solution, x1, will be what? -2 plus 4 over 2. And the second solution, x2, will be what? -2 minus 4 over 2. And this will simplify to -2 plus 4 will give us plus 2. Divide by 2, that will give us 1. Then -2, -4 will give us -6. Divide by 2 will give us -3. So the solutions of this quadratic equation here is simply 1 and -3. So this is the process. This is how we apply the formula method. It's an easy approach. And thank you for listening and watching this video. I encourage you to share with your friends, comment, and stay interactive in these sections. And again, in our next class, we'll be looking at the next method, which is the factorization method. So stay tuned as we look forward to this next session. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.